Welcome to Sakshi TV special immigration show with attorney Bhanu Illindra from bbilawfirm.com. Please note that Sakshi TV now has 3 immigration shows every week on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. EST with Mr. Chand Parvateni, on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. EST with Prashanthi Reddy, and on Fridays at 5:30 p.m. EST with Bhanu Illindra. Please tune in to ask your questions. If you are an immigration attorney and would like to join our special shows, please email us at usa@sakshi.com or call us at 8667257441. Before we begin the show, please note that the information provided on the show is not legal advice and for general informational purposes only. Sakshi TV or its agents will not be responsible for use of information. So today we have a very special guest with us today. He is none other than Mr. Bhanu Illindra garu. Hello, Mr. Bhanu. I hope you're doing really well. I was hoping, can you tell a little bit about what you do and how you practice your law in USA?
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you for inviting me on the show back again. And it's been a couple of weeks I couldn't do the live show. I'm sorry for that. And I'm doing good right now. Actually, my name is Bhanu Illindra. I'm an immigration attorney. I actually founded this BBI law group in 2008. I've been practicing immigration law for more than 18 years in this country. I do all types of immigration law matters: employment-based immigration, family-based immigration, immigration compliance issues, investor visas, EB-5 visas, all other types of immigration matters. We do everything in our firm. It's an A to Z immigration law firm. And we are very competent. We have done several thousands of cases in a year. And recently I've been recognized, we have been recognized as top 10 immigration law firms by Silicon India magazine as well. So it's a good thing. You feel good when somebody recognizes you, your efforts and your hard work and everything. And any details to be known about our firm, they can actually visit our website, www.bbilawgroup.com. Our office number is 703-496-7722. They can reach me anytime at my email, which is bhanu@bbilawgroup.com.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bhanu Garu. Yes, we did miss you for a couple of weeks last time. So, Mr. Bhanu Garu, I was hoping, can we talk a little about the latest immigration news that is happening?
The most important updates which I would like to bring people aware of is there are a couple of things. One is about the June visa bulletin. I think everybody is already aware of. I think many lawyers spoke about this. It's important to know that in the June visa bulletin, the EP2 category for Indian nationals, the visa priority date numbers availability has jumped 1 year forward. It was for May, it was September 2013, but for June, it moved forward to September 2014. That's actually 1 year jump. We did not anticipate that happening, but that happened. And that surprises me based upon the demand we have for the number of visas from the Indian nationals, and seeing this jump clearly shows that that Indian nationals are not taking advantage of the visa numbers available in the EB2 category. We will talk about that later on in this segment. Basically, it's very important for them to take advantage of this jump of the final action dates in EB2 category. And if anybody has a valid I-140 in EB2 category, and if they have an existing 485 pending with the USCIS in any other category, I think they should seek interfiling for this EB2 I-140, provided their employer allows them to do that, and take advantage of this so that USCIS can adjudicate their green cards faster and allocate those visa numbers to them. And in that way they get their green cards faster. They don't have to wait in a line for this many years where they waited all these years. My sincere advice is for them is not to worry about what information is available online. They have to rely on the USCIS advice and what has been posted on the USCIS website, and accordingly they should take action on this. And that's why it's important for them to request for the interfiling in the month of June if the priority dates are current, so that they can take advantage of the visa numbers availability for the Indian nationals this year. We do not know whether those numbers will be available next year or not, depending upon how consulates are going to function, how consulates are going to open, how many family-based petitions are going to be adjudicated in coming year. So that's very, very important. That's why I advise them to take advantage when it's available. And that's why I advise all the people to interfile rather than filing a second petition or second duplicate 485 or anything like that, because it will unnecessarily sometimes can delay process because they have two applications pending with the USCIS. It's better follow the advice given by the USCIS and request the interfiling. That's very, very important. And another one more update I want to bring people is people are eagerly waiting for the expansion of premium processing program for various forms basically, which the final rule was published on March 30, 2022, which is coming into effect from May 31, 2022. However, USC has said that they're going to implement that rule on a phase-wise system, and it's going to gradually implement that. They try to implement at least premium processing for the I-140s, EB1C category, and also for the advanced degree professionals who are seeking a national interest waiver individuals. Now, premium processing is not available for them, but they said that they try to implement that as early as possible, if possible from May 31st, 2022 onwards. Or at least that's what they intend to do that. And also eventually they said that they're going to expand this premium processing for the Form I-539, I-765s, especially for the FJM student categories and for other individuals. But we have to understand this. But they're telling that they will try to do it by September 2022. So that is one thing which people have to keep it in mind in filing their applications and petitions timely for the extension of status or maintenance of status or a change of status, whatever it is, And so although USA said that we know about USAs, they take time, delay and everything, and it's going to be, sometimes can take more time for them to make those changes, to implement those changes and everything. And the third thing is, we all know that in March 2022, actually USS did publish that they're going to change how the processing times are going to be notified about each and every application to the USC, to the individuals. It's important that now US is going to is trying to be more transparent on letting the people know what are the processing times at the particular service center or particular field office or anything like that, because of the numerous litigation they faced in the past years because of the delay in the processing times, especially in H4 cases and L2 cases and EAD cases and everything. I think US is trying to implement these changes right now and trying to put it in place so that they can actually improve the processing times for the cases and educate them as fast as possible. But the method of notifying or method of publishing processing times is a little bit different right now. Many lawyers are very disappointed with it, basically, and but we have to see how US is going to do that. Are they going to keep up the promise, what they promised, as per the new final rule, which is published in March 2022, with the processing times and everything. So that is one more important thing which I want people to watch out and see if they have any questions on how to approach those things, how to review those processing times and everything. They're very welcome to reach our office. We are very happy to guide them on that. So those are the three major updates which I want to really provide in this call prior to us discussing more further on the immigration laws. Shivani.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Bhanu Garu. So Bhanu Garu, like you said when you were giving us the introduction about how especially the filers, when they're filing for the interfiling, they must take advantages out of it. So I was hoping, what are some common mistakes that people tend to do, and this delays the process, or this definitely messes up. So as you are in this field for so long, so what are some common mistakes that people do, and what are your views on that?
The problem is there's a lot of misinformation available online on the interfiling, okay? And that misinformation was produced or published by few people who are we don't know what the reasons are for them to do that, That misinformation, misguidance actually creating too many issues with these individuals, and they're not sure exactly whether it's a good idea to do interfiling or not, That misinformation, I strongly believe, has been provided for one's own selfish reasons rather than for the benefit of the community or the society or for the individual who's actually seeking the benefit, But it's very difficult for me to comment on that because it's a very broad issue. My advice is individuals is that they should actually visit the websites or the forums basically which are genuine ones, like a usas.gov website or some lawyer's website, where they get the right information, not some public forums where some person who does not know anything about the immigration law, but is actually posting as if he's an expert in immigration law based on his own experience or his own knowledge on his case, what he has done and everything. That's where the whole problem is. For example, a lot of people have a misconception thinking that if they're an EAD, they cannot do the interfiling. That is a completely misconception and wrong guidance to them, because there are a lot of misconceptions and misguidance available for them and misinformation available for them about the interfilings online, in websites and forums and everywhere. That's what is causing the problem. I tell them not to look into them, ask them to talk to the immigration attorneys, take their guidance on them, or if they want to do basic research, they can go to usas.gov website and search under the transfer of underlying basis about the interfiling. That will give them the proper idea exactly what to be asked, what not to be what to be reviewed, what not to be reviewed, and everything. One small example, as I told you, I was talking to you prior to the break, is that people have a misconception saying that if they're working pursuant to EAD, work authorization given to them because of their I-485 spending, they cannot do the interfiling. That is basically a misconception, misguidance available to them online. I do not know where that kind of a view has come from, but US has clearly said that even if they're in EAD, if they have pending 485, and if that 485 was timely and properly filed, at the time of filing, they're eligible to do the interfiling. If provided they have a valid EB2 I-140, or they're eligible to file EB2 I-140 that has a priority date current for them, which has a priority date current for them, So that is one misguidance, misinformation available to them. Second information is, there is one more misinformation available to them, is that, yes, if they have a pending I-485 based upon the EB3 I-140 petition, and if that petition is still pending and not approved, then they cannot do the interfiling to EB2 I-140 petition. That is wrong. It does not matter whether the underlying I-140 petition, existing I-140 petition, is approved or pending is. What matters is basically is that for the petition which you are seeking interfiling should be valid one and existing one. That is what is matter. Even if the EB2 I-140 is not approved, even if it is still pending, you can still do the request for the interfiling for the EB2 I-140. So these are the misconceptions people have, a lot of them, and I think that is happening because of the misguidance, misinformation, which they're getting online by various sources which are not authentic sources, not like from lawyers or anybody. I think this problem is causing, and that's why I urge them strongly to take advantage of the interfiling, follow the recommendations given by the US. The US is urging them to do the interfiling to EB2 category if they have an existing 485 based upon EB3 category or some other category for which priority dates are not current right now. And that's very important thing to do.
Yes, Mr. Bhanu. Another misconception or a query that a lot of people have when they're filing for the H-1B cap is that they must definitely have a prior work experience, and they think that if they are a freshers or somebody who has no information, they will have or they will seek many challenges when they get their H-1B. Is it true, Mr. Bhanu Garu, and how does it work?
It's not necessarily true. It all depends upon the position for which they're being employed with. Okay, if the minimum requirement for the H-1B is that, what is H-1B is? H-1B is meant for the specialty occupation workers, basically, right? It says specialty occupation. If you have a requirement in a specialty occupation, then employer can sponsor H-1B for an individual who qualifies for that specialty occupation, right? What is a specialty occupation is? Specialty occupation means the position that requires at a minimum a bachelor's degree or its equivalent. Bachelor's degree means a 4-year degree or its equivalent in a field of endeavor in which the employee intends to be employed or intends to be worked with, basically, right? So requirement is, if the position itself requires a bachelor's degree, that's more than enough. It does not require any experience, So even you are a fresher, if you have enough education requirements and if you qualify for that position, if the employer thinks that you are right person to join them, they can definitely sponsor H-1B for you being on the bachelor's degree over there, and the same thing with the that's what is very, very important, and that's what the specialty occupation requirements are. it does not require an experience from you. But if the position itself requires an experience, then beyond the bachelor's degree, then yes, you need to meet the requirements of the bachelor's degree and the experience and all those things. But the basic requirement of the regulations is for the H1B is that you having a bachelor's degree or its equivalent. For example, you're a doctor. You are a doctor, and you just finish your residency and you go to start your practice or a job as a doctor. You don't have any experience as that one. Only experience you have is your residency. You cannot say that you don't qualify as a specialty occupation worker being a doctor for that position. So because MD in this country is an advanced degree, right? So you do qualify for H1B petition in that way. Same with the lawyers, same with the engineers, same with all these people. So it's not necessarily true that if you do not have an experience, you don't qualify for H1B petition.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bhanu, because this was a question that was asked a lot of times. So yeah, and also Bhanu Garu, now it's May and August, which is the college time, and a lot of people are applying for universities, and a lot of people are applying for F1s. So, Mr. Bhanu Garu, what are some things that you want to suggest to students who are applying for universities from India to USA?
My advice always them to is to make sure that they do the research on the institutions in which they intend to join. And one is to be very honest himself about their abilities on what kind of a performance they can do, how much they can study in the school where they're basically appearing or trying to plan to go and pursue their higher education in the US. And that's very, very important. And they have to do the research on that, and they have to make sure that what is the field of endeavor is appropriate for them, what is their plan or anything like that. They just want to do some kind of higher education in the US, yes, they can do whatever they want to do. But if they're really serious about pursuing an American dream, I think they need to do the proper research and see what program they can get into, and make sure that whether they're competent enough to pursue that education in that particular program also is very, very important. First, so make sure that you approach colleges very early, take admissions into those colleges, obtain proper documentation from the school as early as possible, like your I-20 and everything, and timely apply for a F1 visa. When you apply for F1 visa, most important thing which they have to show is that their intention to study abroad in the higher education in the institution for which they're seeking a visa, by documentation and everything, basically showing that what they've done in the past, what they want to do in the future, how it's going to benefit for them in their career or what their life. That's what they need to be able to document it or able to explain that to the officers at the interview if they call for the in-person interview. Okay, and along with them, they need to be able to document the enough source of funds available for them to pursue education in the US. If they have a scholarships or if they have a research assistantship or a graduate assistantship or a teaching assistantship or anything like that, they should be able to document those things also at the time of appearing for the interview. If they do not have that, then they need to show their personal funds or the sponsorship funds or whatever it is. It's very, very important to show the source of funds for them, to show that they are very strong financially. They're not going to depend on anybody else in the US. Okay? And third thing is they need to show their ties to the India, that they're going to come back to India. And that is the most difficult thing for a lot of people to show, because they don't have a job or they don't have anything. They're fresh off the boat. They just graduate from the school and they're trying to do their higher education in the US. Many of them don't have the jobs. Many of them don't have any experience or don't have any other ties in the India except their parents being there or their family being there. So that is a very tough question. So basically, it's very important for them to tell, express documentation in their statement, in their application, which they're applying to the USCI, saying that they intend to come back to India upon completion of their education, and explain them what are the job opportunities they have and how they have and everything. Sometimes for that, your family background really matters a lot. Okay? If you're coming from a small farmer family in India, then they think that you're more likely to migrate. If you're coming from the gazetted officer's family or officials from the family, I've seen this really. That's what happens when they adjudicate the applications. Then they tend to issue visas quite a lot because they know that these individuals tend to come back because they may have a job in the US in certain positions, certain levels, or will have some other future plans in the country because they're well established financially in India. So those factors really matter a lot. Those factors really factor a lot. And other thing is, when you show the source of funds available in your account, make sure that they are genuine ones. Don't do the cut and paste or some fraudulent letter from somebody else, because those are the ones can be easily caught. Make sure that you put the money into your account, let the money sit there in the account for 2-3 months until you come to US list, and that's very, very important to document that. And source of funding also is very important. For example, suddenly if 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs comes into his account, you need to show that where the money is coming from also. If you have a documentation for that, that can also really factor a lot for them in applying for F1 visa. So those are the things. These are the small things sometimes is the ones which became really impactful, especially now.
Yes.
They're going to issue visas for thousands and thousands of people,
Yes.
But however, if the economy is going to go, if it goes into recession the way it's showing right now, if it happens, then suddenly we can see the policy changing by the Department of State or by the government to not issue visas for them.
Yes. Yes, Bhanu Garu. Thank you so much, first of all, Bhanu Garu, for coming onto our show again. It's indeed an honor for us to have you on our show all the time. Thank you for the viewers for tuning in. We shall definitely continue this again next week too. Thank you for the viewers for tuning in. Thank you for watching. You're watching Sakshi TV with me, Shivani Raj.